Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Hammer Podcast. I know it's been a while. The last one I did was in September. The number has changed. So if you look on the bottom here, let me take this off. It's 920-777-4067. If you'd like to be on the podcast, if you want to talk about life stories or troubled teen homes like we're about to talk to today, just give me a text and we will set up a time. Today we have, what is today? Today is the 16th, right? 16th of December. And we have Jared on the podcast with us. He went to the Family Foundation School in Handcock, New York from 1998 to 2000. He'll give you the exact dates. So we're going to go ahead and, let me see here. Oh, yeah, you already have somebody on there. Hell yeah. All right. We already got people coming on. All right, so Jared, go ahead and start from the beginning. Why were you sent there?
Well, hello everybody. Good evening. And before I start, thank you, Jason, for this and everything you do. Start from the beginning. All right.
Yep.
I grew up in a average household, normal, middle class, I guess, small town. I grew up in Goshen, New York. Had average grades. Was a decent athlete. Grew up fairly normal. Although my whole life there was a lot of arguing constantly. Felt like I was walking on eggshells around them all the time, which was kind of confusing. Um, as I got older, started to rebel, as most teenagers do. I started smoking pot, skipping school, sneaking out at night, um, checking out the girls, like most
So,
teenage boys.
so basically, your typical teenager.
Right. Absolutely. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Right.
Right.
Right. My parents were pretty strict. My mom especially. My dad was a little more lenient out of the picture. He kind of didn't really give two shits what I was doing, but my mom was more the put her foot down type.
Right.
Um, she wanted everything to look perfect from our outside, especially in the community we lived. That was important to her. Anyway, so as I got older, started smoking weed and whatever. So they were getting concerned. They, uh, I was about 15 years old, I'd say. One day I was snooping through their drawers looking for $5 to go get a nick bag of weed, and I come across these papers, and it's from an adoption agency, and so I open them up. I'm looking at them. I'm reading them, and wow, what a shock! I saw my name there. Found out I was adopted at 15. Never told me. Um, it was shocking. I I ran down to the local office supply store, made a photocopy, put the original one back, so they wouldn't know that I knew at the time. Um, so I put the original one back. A few days later, me and my mom are arguing about something or other. Not quite sure what at this point, but that really is irrelevant. Uh, I don't know what you have to be so angry with, Jared. And I said, oh, yeah. And I took the paper and tossed it at her. She opened it up and yelled at my dad, hey, John, we have a problem. So, long
Uh-huh.
story short, they came down. They told me a few things about my birth mom, that she was young, 15, from the next town over, and that supposedly she graduated valedictorian of her class, which I don't know. But and that one day when I was ready, they would tell me they would give me my original birth certificate, which they had, and when I was ready to look for her, they would help me. So a month later, I awoke to two of the ginormous guys I've ever seen in my life, shaking me out of bed, saying, Jared, wake up, you're coming with us. So as this is happening, I'm confused. I don't know what's going on. Uh, so they take me out of bed. They load me in the car. I wasn't allowed to pack anything. Um, Next thing I know, we're driving off somewhere. I'm scared shitless.
Oh,
um,
like any teenager would be. I
you
mean,
know, yeah, for sure. Um, Confused. I don't know what's going on, what's happening. I'm thinking to myself, they offer me a cheeseburger. I don't know where it came from, a McDonald's cheeseburger.
oh,
And next thing I eat the cheeseburger because, breakfast, I'm hungry. And next thing I know, I'm waking up in the family school parking lot in front of the steps coming up to the school. Somehow I fell asleep on the ride where I'm scared out of my mind. I don't know. I'm not saying any accusations. I don't know what happened, but it's kind of funny that I would fall asleep in a situation like that, being scared out of my mind, but that's what happened. So we arrive at the family, um, come upstairs to the normal intake, like I've heard so many other people talk about um, on the podcast here. And what a culture shock. As people have said, I was in Family Six originally with Paul and Diane. Um, I was there during the time of the blankets and the duct tape.
oh, okay.
Um, so was witness to that almost immediately. I think my second or third day there, I saw my first wrap up, and it scared me to death. So after that, I think my first year I spent in Family Six with Paul. Um, about 8 months in, we he had this weird obsession with a train sets, and he had the maintenance staff build a train set above the tables. Many of you know the table topics. Obviously, you know what the U tables. You know what I'm talking. Sorry, I'm a
Yep,
little hoarse. I have a cold.
it's okay.
The tables, the U's. You guys know what I'm talking about. He had this maintenance staff build a shelf above Family Six's table and had a model train set put in. Now, me and another student, who I'll only refer to as A, he took us with his wife, Diane, to Scranton, Pennsylvania, to go down to an old train museum or whatever it is down there, steam train locomotive museum down in Scranton, PA, off campus, just me and her one day. And it was just weird. I was with Diane and she was with Paul. And as we were coming back, she was visibly upset. And I asked, "What's wrong with you?" And she said, "Don't worry about her." That's troubled me since that day. I'm confused about it. Just the whole situation was awkward. A few days later, I got brought up at the table.
Oh,
He,
that's the infamous table talk, right?
oh yeah, the table topics. Oh yeah,
Oh, table topics. Yes.
yeah. A few days later, I got brought up, and he's ripping into me, man. If you go out there, you know Paul's voice is like needles through your soul. That man can yell. Um, the whole house would hear him yell when he got on Real Tears. Oh, I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because it's kind of sad. But
Right.
um, I think a lot of people identify with that. That's when you knew somebody was really getting it. But anyway, I'm up there, and one day he was screaming into me real hard and called me a simpleton. I didn't know what that meant. I had no clue what a simpleton was. I looked it up like the next day or whatever, later that day, whatever it was. It was a fool. A simpleton is a fool. And something I've struggled with is why would you call me that a couple days after our trip to Pennsylvania? Um, I don't know. I struggle with that because it doesn't make sense. to me.
Well, maybe
'Cause
just it could have been maybe just to show his dominance over you, or to show he was a tough guy and you were nothing.
yeah, basically, yeah, yeah.
You
Like
know.
just right, and that's what they did constantly to all of us. Like the manipulation and the psychological mind fuck
Oh
that
yeah.
we experienced on a daily basis. We, I remember sitting there, especially when I was in Family Six with Paul, because Paul scared me to death. Sitting at the table, and you're hoping to God you don't hear your name called to go up in front of the
Huh.
family. And when it wasn't, the relief you felt, or I felt, was like, oh, thank God it's not me this time. And that was an everyday thing, lunch and dinner, and living terrified like that constantly. Like it's tortured me to this day. I still have the social anxiety. I still have the PTSD, the whatever you want to call it. I still struggle, a little bit about like after the family. I'm skipping a little ahead right now, but I
Right.
spent 15 to 20 years as an addict, crackhead, and shooting heroin. Um,
Oh.
who finally just got clean a few years ago, and I'm starting to face all these demons from my past. Enough's enough. I'm done giving them the power over me to continue living my life miserable and fucked up. Like many of us came out of there worse than we would have been or were going in. Um, at least that's my experience. Um, anyway, um, after I was there for a year, I got switched to Family Five because they like to shake things up every once in a while. They would switch certain kids from certain families and shake them up because they thought you were stagnant or like middle of the roaders, they would call them, where they thought a change of scenery would benefit you and hopefully progress your growth and confirmation to the program. Um, so I went to Family Five after my first year there. Immediately in Family Five, I was the new target, and it was very uncomfortable in the corner constantly. Um, so I decided to run away. No,
Oh.
I had been off the program. I had been off the property before on that trip, so I kind of knew the layout of where I paid attention, where the dirt road ended on the main road, and I get to town, and so and so forth. So I ran away. I knew to go left or right out of our Family Five dorm, cut through the woods, and then straight up the way over to the road. So that's what I did. Um, Ran down the road all night. There's probably like 7 to 10 miles, something like that. Um, it made it to Hancock. I knew the state police were searching for us. So
Oh, there was more than just
yeah,
you.
yes, I ran away with a kid named Kevin. I won't say his last name, but me and Kevin ran
Okay.
away. Yes. Um, yes, me and Kevin decided, what, we're out of here. This place is too crazy. So, right before Hancock, there's a bridge across the river. I think it's the Delaware River. I could be wrong. Um, we didn't want to cross the bridge like on the road because if the troopers drove by, they would spot us. So there was a railroad trestle over to the left. To the left, we saw. We're like, you know what? Let's just go crawl across the trestle so that we don't get spotted. So that's what we did. We made it into town, slept for a couple hours because we were tired, um, and then went up to the highway and hitchhiked. And I hitchhiked back to my hometown, which was, I don't know, I'd say about 2 hours, 2.5 hours from Hancock. Sorry, I have a cold. I'm sorry, everybody.
That's fine.
Um, so I made it to my hometown. Um, Immediately, my parents were furious. I had nowhere to go. I eventually reached out to an old family friend, and they called my parents immediately. And he's here, come get him, and whatever. So it was a big whole scene that I eventually agreed to go back. I had no other choice. Like no, they were steadfast in their commitment to me being there for whatever reason. Um, so I go back, in the corner, no shoes, everything, like you, the normal routine, being at that school. So I go back. I'm in Family Five at this point. One of your previous guests, Julie, uh, was an inspiration to me, by the way. Um, yeah. Oh, man. I traded thought. Oh, yeah, I haven't thought about this stuff in a long time. Um, anyway, so I eventually just learned how to play the game. That's what it boiled down to. That's what we had to do. If we didn't learn how to play the game, you were constantly on sanction, work sanction, punished, the two dry tuna fish with the English muffin, um, constantly getting berated at the table and tortured.
Right.
Um, you know, you you eventually learn to it's funny. One of the principles there was the four absolutes: honesty, purity, unselfishness, and love. Now, it's funny because unselfishness, they tried teaching us, but that's what I became. The most selfish person on the planet, I would think. Because I'm hoping the person sitting next to me is getting up at the table instead of myself. I'm telling on people that I'm friends with and rather see them get in trouble than me. Um,
Well, that's pretty
and-
much self-preservation.
right,
You know,
exactly. That's what it was. That's what we had to do there to survive. Now, and I came out of there with that mindset, self-preservation. Only cared about myself, you know, for these last 20, whatever many years it's been. A selfish addict who gave a shit about myself. I became what they told me I would become if I didn't follow the program. You know, that's what I became. And um, it's funny how they try to instill that in you, but they created that. That's what's funny to me, anyway. I'm looking back. All
yeah, with all the years that you were there,
yes.
especially during the New York winters. I mean,
Oh my God.
I
Yeah.
live up in Wisconsin,
Okay. So,
northeast
yeah.
Wisconsin, so I know
Yeah.
exactly about the winters up here north.
Ooh.
So, yeah. So having to work out there, all the psychological trauma you guys
Oh,
were inflicted with, the physical trauma, like you said, with the blankets and all that, that screws with your mind, and it sometimes it's really hard to
mhm.
undo all that.
Absolutely. It's
You
taken
know.
me 20 years, you know, of soul suffering to be able to get to that point. You know, um, we
Well,
were
you, well, you know,
given. Go ahead. Go ahead.
well, the whole thing was, from what I've heard from some people, sometimes in order to go back up or to get yourself back up, you have to hit rock bottom
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
order to go back up again.
And
You know,
that's
so
what
that's
happened.
that's pretty much what happened to you.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what happened to me.
You know,
And yeah, just looking back, like it, if we didn't have that constant beratement and psychological, like constant fear, constant worry, constant stress, and the rigid program, like we didn't have a free moment. Sorry, free
right?
moment from sun up to sundown. We, you know, it was constant mental anguish living there, and the staff didn't help it. Some of them were, I believe, really in it for good reasons. Most of the older East Ridge, um, I kind of call them the cultist staff. People don't know what I'm talking about. Those were the ones that were pushing this extreme agenda on us. Um, a lot of the night staff, they were just there doing their job. That's my opinion. Um,
Yeah,
they kind of did seem to give a little. They did seem to kind of care about us. Um, from what I experienced, um, but it was those ones that went to Eastridge. and the cult was over there, a religious cult. Those who were in the staff that were to be feared, in my opinion. Those are the ones I feared, at least.
Oh yeah.
Um, we looking back to um, let's pick up where we kind of left off. I'm kind of rambling. I'm sorry.
It's all
Like,
right.
a lot of things flooded back. So Family Five, I came back when I ran from running away. Things were kind of okay. I kind of stayed in the shadows for a while. Started doing what I was told. Really focused on school to get my grades up. Um, During this time too, I will say I've heard some things said on some of the podcasts. Um, the one good thing I can say that I took from there was my belief in God. I've always had that during the years since I've left. I've heard some things said about Father Stephen. Um, I never got a bad vibe from that guy ever. In fact, when I was leaving the school, I was going to go and actually looking into becoming a priest. As funny that sounds, but I was like because of him. He helped me get through that place. So I don't know if anything ever did happen with him. I don't know, but as far as my experience with him, like nothing but positive reviews. Um, he helped me tremendously. The other part of it, um, so that's kind of what I embraced at that point while I was there. I became kind of like the spiritual center of our family. Um, you know, because I found solace in it and tried to give that to the other kids in my family. Because it helped me. I thought maybe it would help them. Honestly, for some of them, I think it did because of the way our relationship formed. If that makes sense.
Well, yeah, especially
Um,
when you have somebody, if you're like you said, you're stressed out, you're in fear, and then you got this one person, like you were saying, that trying to help. You know what I mean? Giving you
yeah,
comfort. That really helps a lot of people.
yeah, yeah,
Kind of gives them at least a few moments or a few minutes of calm.
right, right.
You
And
know.
that's what it was because our normal days there was no calm ever. You're shadowing this person, you're doing this, you're on kitchen crew, you're doing laundry crew, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing that, doing your schoolwork, you're getting screamed at on the tabletop. And that's was just constant life there. Was just always chaotic and who's doing bad and who's doing good, who's on blackout with who, and it was just a complete mind fuck. Um, and so many of us lived it, and they destroyed our souls in the process, turning us against one another constantly. Like, you didn't know who to trust. I still to this day have trust issues with people. I have social anxiety in the stores because of all this. Um, I can't even be in like ShopRite or whatever store for any more than like 15 minutes before I start going crazy. Like I gotta get out of here. Um,
Yeah.
uh, anyway, yeah, I'm kind of rambling on and on, but what I'm trying to say is just, uh, it's hard. Everything that happened up there, leaving and coming back to the real world, was so confusing. So, like, what do I do now? Like, I, I missed out on the normal teenage years that most people have. I didn't know how to interact with people. Didn't know how to be hold down a job like a normal person, or interact with females, or rather trust anybody.
Right.
Even my family, our relationship has been completely destroyed. Um, I haven't spoken to them in years. Yeah, it's just complete psychological mind numbing mind fuck. Is my experience because I'm forced to do things for the people that I cared about, kids that I cared about. I was forced to tell on them because at a certain point in Family Five, once I started learning how to play the game, I um I became what was referred to as a super senior member. Like Pat got student of the month, which was given to one student each month for like being like most trusted student in the community. Um, I got the student of the month award the 1 month. So I had a lot of trust, a lot of responsibilities, but it was all fake. I was just playing the game. That's what I used to tell my junior sponsees. Just play the game. Like I'm tired of seeing you getting yelled at. I'm
Just
tired of
just basically do your time.
do
Basically.
your time. Yes.
Yep.
Just
Stay
yeah.
small. Stay small.
Yes.
Yep.
Stay invisible. Yes, absolutely. That's what it was. That's what you had to do there.
Yeah.
And you know, at any point I could have lost it. God forbid some people would just make stuff up about you. Oh, Jared, I'm bringing you. They come to your family for a topic. They see two kids from another family come in, and you be there shaking in your boots because why are they here? Who are they bringing up? And
Right.
even us senior members at the time would put me petrified. Are they here for me? Like we're making eye contact or something, and I'm going to lose all my privileges now. And like that's the level of mind control that they. What's the word I'm looking for? Brainwashing. There you go.
Yeah.
That we experienced, and that haunts me to this day. Is the fact that I had so much success there and was basically left alone for like my last 8 months and just given responsibilities and had to wrap kids up or had to double shadow kids or had to watch kids doing the rock sections and like
Are you talking about kids in the blankets?
yes, yes, I am. That
Wow.
stopped like halfway through my stay there, I'd say, but it still involved in it. It's the fact that I had to do that to another child, like looking back at it, I have kids now. I have a 21-year-old son, and I can't even imagine him having to go through that. And the fact that I actually did that to another child, like
Right.
that bothers me. That
Well,
that's
let me tell you something, Jared. When you were talking about how you said that your parents, that their relationship with your parents is somewhat destroyed.
yeah, it is.
You have to remember, you're a parent. I'm a parent as well. And I would never send my kids to there,
Yeah,
right?
me neither.
But you have to also realize this was what, 98?
Yes, not jealous. Yes,
There was no websites on this place,
true,
no reviews, you
true,
know. So
true.
maybe I'm not excusing their behavior. I'm
Yeah,
not by
yeah,
all means. But what I'm saying
yeah.
is they were a little more. There was a little more
Other
ignorance
factors,
and a little
right?
more. Yeah,
Yes,
they were
yes.
more naive back
Other
then
factors, yes.
because they
And they
didn't
got
have.
duped. They
Right,
got they
they didn't have all the information.
right, right. And we weren't allowed to tell them. I'd give tours to parents and try to promote how great this place was. Oh yeah, we do X, X, and X, and oh, it's so good. And come, your kid's gonna love it
Sure,
here. And we were forced to tell these parents this, which you know, which in
fear
our
of it was fear of retaliation.
yeah,
They
of
were,
course, yes.
yes,
Because if we did, I'm in trouble. That's my ass on the line. So I got to lie to this kid's parents, and then I see him show up 2 weeks later, and I'm like, damn,
shit.
fuck, another one, damn. Like the guilt. I
Right,
still feel that guilt. Like I still carry that. Like that. Oh man, like
right.
because you're right. The parents were duped. Like this whole troubled teen industry thing is such a con job, and they're still getting away with it. And that's why I reached out to you, and I've been watching and the other documentaries on other uh, Netflix or whatever about like, exposing this stuff because they got lied to, and then they didn't know what else to do. I know that, I know they really didn't, but at the same time, like, oh, you know, it, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's just a double-edged sword there.
The thing is,
It's
yeah, the thing is the trouble teen industry, whether it's a religious one or not,
right.
it's a multi-billion
Yes,
dollar industry.
right,
And
right,
when
and unregulated.
right, some are not though. Some are not. There are some states like Missouri and
Right.
Texas that don't have regulations.
Hmm.
Okay,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
they don't have people coming in there and inspecting the place to see how everything's going. They don't have
Right.
that.
Sure. Sure.
Plus, you also have to understand that a lot of these places where a lot of the religious troubled homes are at
Oh yeah.
are in red states where there's a lot of religious people.
Right. Yes.
So,
True.
and
True.
and all the thing with the troubled teen homes is, yeah, you go back home and you go, look, this place is a complete shithole. They treated me like shit. I'm they beat me. They did whatever.
Right.
Okay, wait a minute. You're a kid that's been in trouble.
Right.
Who
Yeah.
am I going to believe? Am I going to believe you,
Right.
or am I going to
Right.
believe the counselor over there?
Exactly.
That
Exactly.
was that was their advantage right there.
Exactly. Yes. Absolutely. And they used it to
Yes.
to the 10th degree. For sure. They sure did.
Yep.
They they manipulated my parents as like all the other parents. Um, they were duped and conned out of thousands and thousands of dollars because it was not cheap to be sent away to a place like this. From a lot of things that I know, thousands. The tuition was not cheap. Anyway,
Right.
uh, looking back, I just wish there was a way that I could have told them. Because we weren't allowed to say anything to them. The letters were screened, the phone calls were monitored. Um, Even when I left, though, you know, coming home to them, it just was so awkward. The whole experience,
Yeah.
um, and trying to deal with that as a teenage boy, and it just was difficult for me. Um, and hence all the struggles I've had since uh, trying to come on here and expose some of it, and trying to get it out in the air, get it out in the open, if you say. Uh,
Right. See, this is the reason why I do this, is because, excuse me, if you have any parent out there who wants to send their kid to a teen home, they look at the website, then they look at the reviews, then they start looking at video of the good and the bad, and hopefully they can make an informed, intelligent
yeah,
decision.
just don't
You
do
know,
it. There's other ways.
yes,
That's
there
my
are.
advice. There's just don't do it.
Now
Don't.
it's not to say that all of them are bad. Okay,
Right,
I'm
right.
not saying that, but a majority of them are.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. I know what you're saying. Um, but I don't know. But this one was,
oh
and
yeah,
they got it
definitely.
shut down. But so all right, I'll pick up where we left off.
Okay.
Kind of get off on these other, going down rabbit holes here. Um, just so much stuff is flooded back. It's crazy. Um, so yeah, like I said, the super senior member thing. Uh, oh, man, I just lost my train of thought again.
You were at
Uh,
table. You were at table talk, and you were just
yes,
scared that
all the time,
yeah, the seniors were
everything,
yeah.
all the time. Just even as a senior member, you had the constant fear of getting bucked back down or put in a corner and having to start all over again, so to speak. Uh, that's all it was constant fear of everything there, of sanctions, of staff, of losing your position in the community. that was valued. Um, it was kind of like the senior members like kind of had the what's the word I'm looking control, if you will, of the flow of things there. Um, it was just completely uh, mind fucking for all of us. I don't know
It was chaos.
how else to explain it. Right? It was chaos. Um, the one good thing I will say on a lighter note, while I'm thinking about it, like, I've heard things about the food. I thought the food was pretty good, honestly. I'm trying to soften up here a little bit. The food was
Right.
pretty good, honestly, in my opinion. Like me, breakfast kind of sucks because it was like the same thing every Monday was the same thing every Saturday was the same thing. But lunch and dinners, man, I love the food. That was one of the good things. Um,
Now,
oh,
some of the people have said that don't eat all the food, they wrap it up and then they.
oh yeah, for
Okay.
sure. You wrap it up. You eat it cold the next meal. If you didn't have you didn't eat your next meal until you ate that. That was constant. So most whether you liked it or not, whether you were allergic to it or not, that's what they did. Um, they forced kids to eat things they were allergic to, like fish. Let's say, for instance. I'm sorry. Can you get me a tissue, please? I'm sorry. Um,
Yes.
but right, peanut allergies, I think they avoided because that'd probably kill a kid. But remember, kids being allergic to fish and then forcing them to eat fish.
Right.
Um, and if they didn't, they'd have to eat it the next meal cold.
Oh.
Nonetheless, I'm sorry. Excuse me. What's up?
Right.
I'm sorry. I'm suffering from a little cold right now. I'm sorry, guys.
That's fine.
Um, okay. So thank you. Um, yeah, the food that was a big thing with a lot of people. You got to choose your portions, half, regular, or double.
Really?
Um, yes,
Oh.
you were committed to that for a month. Every month it would change,
Oh.
but
Okay.
so I remember I was double, regular, double, I think. Um, but hungry boy growing up, so I was the boys tend to eat a lot, but um, yeah, I remember that. One outlet I had to, despite how everything turned out with this man. The chorus was an outlet for me. I was in chorus. I was in tenor section leader while I was there. In fact, went up on stage to grab the trophy for our men's chorus was ranked number two in North America at the time. Um, I remember that like clearly. The chorus was kind of like almost like a pressure valve at the end of the day to like let it out. Like just you got away from the stress of the day and just sang. At least for me,
Right.
um, that was kind of an outlet for me there. I've heard some other kids talk about and um, but then you had to deal with Paul there also,
Oh.
which was everybody knows how it
Are
was
we
for him.
talking about Paul Gear?
Yes, we are. Yes,
I could say
absolutely.
we could say his name because he's already been convicted. He's a
Yes, I heard about that, and thank
freaking
God. Thank
pervert.
thank
Yeah.
God. It's about time. Um, because yes, he was a very scary man. Uh, yeah, I still have nightmares about Family Six and them table topics with him. Um,
Right.
and I was a boy. The girls had it so much worse. They'd
Really.
have I felt so bad for the girls that went to the school because they'd be screaming at. They'd put them on no makeup sanctions, dress down sanctions. The shoes would be taken. They'd have them. They'd be at the table calling them sluts, and you're gonna grow up and be a $5 prostitute for crack and all kinds of crazy stuff. And I felt so bad for those girls. Um, and there's nothing really you could do. You had to just sit there and hear them getting called. You're going to be a prostitute one day. And there's nothing you could do to what can we do? You know,
Right.
they'd be getting screamed at, and oh man, I used to feel so bad for the girls. They had it. Some of the guys we had it rough too. Um, God forbid you masturbated. Uh, that was like the root of all your evil there. Like, oh, you're getting bad grades because you must be masturbating at night, or and this is in front of everybody, like the whole family, the staff, the girls, the boys. They blow your spot up in front of. They didn't care. And how embarrassing that is for like a teenager girl or a guy to go through is I look back on it like thinking of my son, like, just me talking, his father talking about it with my own son. It's just
Right.
awkward. It's not something you do, but they made it public knowledge there all the time. It was just comfortable. And the stories Paul would talk about, like he was like, oh, okay.
Go
Sorry,
ahead.
phone. I thought my phone shut off.
Oh.
Like he was he would be jerking off in a car eating a cheeseburger and crash his car and but this was to kids. Like, why are you telling kids these explicit crazy stories? Like almost like prepping us for like whatever. I don't know, man. That I don't know what to make of those, but
Right.
insane stories would come up. Um and like they made it like masturbation was a mortal sin. God forbid. Um, and we were terrified, because we had bunk beds, and God forbid your bunkie down below heard whatever. So teenage boy, I don't think I need to say much more. Like,
Right.
you kind of get the picture. It was just awkward, just completely inappropriate. The student staff relationships there. Um,
It kind of makes you wonder if any of these staff members actually had kids of their own.
yeah,
You know,
a few
because
did. There was a couple,
well,
because their kids were at the school. One of the staff members' kids one time wrote in the bathroom on the wall. They they didn't know it was the staff members' kids at the time. They thought it was the students, what some of us the students, and we were all sanctioned. I don't remember exactly what it was. This is all flooding back right now, but we were all put in the gym or something at a house topic. This was bigger than a table topic. This was the whole house was there. All the families were there, and
oh,
now they they had us all pinned against each other. Like, well, somebody just admitted already, trying to get somebody to come up for it. And it turns out it was one of the staff members' kids that did it. None of us students, but they had us like standing in the gym like all weekend or something or whatever it was. It was just craziness, and it wasn't even any of us. And the fact that they're like weird shit like this went on constantly. This was like
right.
an all the time occurrence there. Just strange, inappropriate things that to children, and that's what we endured on a daily basis. And oh man, it's like, but no, right? Most staff. I wonder. Back to your question. You
Well,
just made me think of that example, but
well, I mean,
um,
the reason why I say that is because I have two kids,
mhm,
boy and a girl.
yeah,
They're 28 and 29 now, but when they were younger,
yeah,
I mean, yeah,
yeah,
they did some stupid shit. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
We
They
all did.
got they got their ass
Yeah.
whipped. You know,
Yep, 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 yep. Sure,
and
sure.
but never, ever did I ever call my son an idiot. I never
Right,
called my daughter a slut. I mean, that's
right,
just
right,
you don't
right,
do that.
right. What that does to especially a teenage girl or boy's psyche, like uh,
Yes.
it's going to scar them for life, and
Yeah.
it did. We were all scarred for life. There's one or two people that I still talk to that were at the family when I was there. One is actually from my hometown, actually, which is kind of weird because when I first got there, I saw her and was like, "Hey," and they're like, "No, no, 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 you can't talk to her. Blackout." I was like, "What the fuck is blackout?" Like what's going on here? What is this
Yeah.
place? But
Uh,
you know, to this day, she struggles too. It's just like you said, like just the psychological things they would say to you to like belittle you and to warp your mind and get you brainwashed to their program and their way of living. It was all AA and the religious aspect of it. You'd have to practice. We'd have to go to. I'm a Catholic, but myself, but we were forced to go to like Jewish services and Methodist and Protestant, whatever. Um, you know, then that's just the way it was. Like everybody participated in everything together, and I, it was just confusing. That how do you develop a sense of like if you are trying to explore that spiritual side of things, like all of that forced in your head, like which one is it? What do I believe? Like it was just so confusing in so many different ways. Um, you know, um, where was I going with that? I brought that up for a reason. Damn. Um, um, I don't know. I lost it. But
I
regardless,
right. I
um,
look at it this way. To me, kids are like clay on a potter's wheel.
yeah,
As
yeah,
they're growing, you're molding them, and they're
yeah,
easily
yeah.
moldable.
Oh, yep, for sure.
If you fuck it up,
It,
and it dries and it hardens, it's over.
yep.
You,
You have
you,
that
you can't.
scar. Yeah,
It's scarred exactly.
yeah.
You know.
That's what we
So,
were. That's what they did. That's my experience.
but see that
Was
that point in life is when you're the most moldable, basically.
yes,
You know,
yes.
when
That's
you
that.
should be receiving proper instruction, discipline, but
Yeah,
fair discipline.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Right. And not embarrassing in front of like you
Right. Not
talking about me
trauma
masturbating in front of teenage girls. Like, come on, man.
and
Yeah.
right,
Like,
stressing people out, traumatizing them, all this other
right,
stuff.
right.
You don't
Yeah.
do that at that
No,
age.
no, 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 no. Right. That's just common
Yeah.
sense. But the
Before you know it, you're strangling kittens and setting fires. You know what I mean?
right, right. Yeah, 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 yeah. Thank God I didn't get like that. But damn, yeah, yeah. I know what you
But
mean, man.
some people,
Like,
though, let me
yeah,
tell you,
it happens, right?
yes,
Like
it
that's the
does.
freaky part about this whole place and the brainwashing aspect of it.
Right.
Conforming to what they wanted you to be, and then leaving there, and the confusion of coming home was like, it was just, it was insane. That's the only word I have for it.
It was a whole new
Insane.
world. It was a whole new world.
Yes, a whole world. And because you know what? When you get sent to a place like this, when I got sent to a place like this, even on me, you know, when I came home, I thought the whole world kind of stopped with me because I kind of stopped when I went there. Like my thinking and thought things. I thought things, I'm going to come home and things are going to kind of be the same. But no, the world moved on. And when I came back into that world, what a shocker. Like, I didn't know which way was up, which way was down. I remember feeling so isolated, alone, confused. Like, um, am I doing this wrong? Is somebody going to confront me? Like, am I going to get in trouble for doing this? Like,
Right.
even everyday little things. Like, I was still in that family school mindset, where I'm going to get in trouble for this. And like, walking on eggshells. Like, you know, it was just so completely awkward. If that makes any sense.
Well, yeah.
Um,
It also
eh,
changes your state of mind. It changes the way you perceive people. Like you said,
yeah,
you
no,
didn't trust people.
I didn't trust anybody.
You didn't want to be
For
around them.
nope,
You
nope,
know.
just right for years. That lasted for years. Just that trauma, I guess you would call it. Just that tortured me for a long, long time. I'm still struggle with it. To be
And you
honest.
get anxiety, all that
Yeah,
stuff.
all that constant anxiety. Um, constant just the distrust was probably the biggest one for me. Like
Right.
I learned how to stop trusting people because it was like the whole thing with the adoption thing with my parents, that scarred me pretty good. Then it was the school and all the things that the staff would do and say. And then I got my peers bringing me up. and I gotta watch out what I say to who and what navigate that whole aspect of things. And it just who do you trust and what do you trust? And that's why when I was at the school, like I said earlier, I turned to God. That's what I did personally. But um, and to this day, I'm not trying to push that on anybody or do whatever, but
Right.
that's what I did to cope. And that's the one good thing that came out of the school with me, I guess. If anything did at all, I will
It brought.
say.
Were you?
But
Have you been a Catholic? Were you a Catholic your whole life, or
no, that's
no?
that's a funny story. I became Catholic at the school. I was baptized Episcopalian as a child, young baby, whatever.
Hmm.
Uh, but I converted to Catholicism while I was at the school because of Father Stephen. Um, I got received into the church, received First Communion. Um, I forget the exact name.
Oh, come
What?
on, Jared! You just wanted to
Uh,
drink the wine. Come on.
yeah, you got me. You got me. No, nah, we weren't allowed to at the school, man. They
Oh,
wouldn't let
okay.
us. They couldn't. We got the communion,
Oh,
the communion wafer, but not the wine.
not the
Oh
wine.
yeah, no, they
Oh
wouldn't give
man.
us any kids none of that, man. You want to know that?
Yeah.
No, God forbid. Yeah, no, no. But no, like like seriousness. I I became Catholic there at the church in Hancock there. When I think the public town church, they brought a bunch of us kids because
Okay.
us kids were the church choir for that place. Every Sunday they would take a select group of us from the chorus, and we'd go sing at the church in town as the town's church choir.
Okay.
So I did become Catholic there at the school. Um, like that's kind of why I brought him up earlier because some I've heard some things about him, which I don't know. It could be true. I don't know. But my experiences with him have all been on the up and up. If that. So I don't know. But if anybody else had a bad experience with him, I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm not doubting them. I don't know. But everything that I've experienced with Father Stephen was good. Is what I can say. Um,
Right.
if if it's different, then I'd love to find out and know the truth because that's what's important to know. This is the truth. At the end of the day, at least for me. Um, but right, that was the solace for me. Um, and still to this day, I still have that strong faith that carries me through. Um, but aside from spending many, many years struggling, trying to figure out who I was and where I fit in this world, because sometimes I look back and I think if I never went to a place like this that completely brainwashed us to their way of thinking, yeah, to AA and to the religious stuff and to the four absolutes, honesty, purity, unselfishness, and love, and completely tried to mind fuck us. Um, I would have thought. I tend to think like looking back, like I would have grew up a lot much more normalized than I did, and not I, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but
Yeah. A lot of
and
teenagers grow out of it,
right,
whatever they're
that's what I'm
doing.
trying to say. Yes,
Yeah.
and because it's not like I was out there like you said earlier, right, doing all this crazy stuff. I was a normal teenager, um, doing normal teenage stuff, and my parents got duped. Bottom line, this whole teen
Yeah.
industry, like you said, duped them. They fell for it, and our whole family has paid the price since. Um, we've had issues for years, and it's sad, but it's what happened. Yeah, I just figured I'd try to come on and talk and tell my experiences and try to open up people's eyes, and this the ones that are bad are definitely not the right answer for your children or for your family.
Right.
Um, it destroyed my family, and my life. Try to cope with all the things.
Have you ever thought about reconciling with the,
You know,
because let me tell you something.
mm,
I don't know if any of your like your mom and dad, if they've passed or not.
my dad has, but my mom's
Okay,
still living.
because
Yes.
my mom passed in 2020,
Mm,
and
okay.
believe me, I wish that you know, I mean, we had a great relationship. Okay,
Mm,
don't get me wrong,
okay. Yeah.
but some things that I had said in the past, man, I'm like, man, I wish I never said. I wish I could just tell her I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
There's,
maybe,
yeah, I know
maybe
that.
Jared, maybe there might be a little spark. Maybe you never know. Maybe
Yeah.
it might kindle something, because
eh,
once they're gone, man, they're gone.
They're gone. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's regret sets in. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. And I know. I've been thinking about that lately too.
something to think
Because
about, though. Something
yeah,
to think about.
for
You
sure.
know,
And I mean, we have. Don't get me wrong. We have gotten along throughout the years. Like, not. I'm probably making it sound a lot worse than it is, but like we've we've had a button heads relationship.
right, right,
Never really to like a normal parent child relationship because of the tension.
yes,
But yeah, my dad passed. Which it kind of it kind of sucks, but but my mom, yeah. But the thing with her, she, it's hard. It's hard because
right.
because
But
I know she was duped, and I know they got her with that regards, with
right,
that aspect of this whole industry. They got her, and we're gonna cure your son, and that's what she expected, and that's not what she got.
right.
And I understand that as an adult now. I can see that side of things. And then from our side was, well, you sent me away to get tortured. So it's that constant battle, like, but
Maybe sometimes it's better to just keep it in the past and
yeah, yeah,
forgive.
forgive and forget.
Because like I said, life's
Um,
too short, man. Life's too
yeah,
short.
yeah, yeah. You're not kidding.
You
Yeah,
know.
it sure is. It sure is.
So, but it's just I'm not telling
Uh,
you what to do. I'm just saying,
no, no, no. I'm not
it's
taking it
just
that way.
something
I
that
know.
maybe
I know.
you should kind of look at and kind of think about
Yeah,
it. And you're a religious
yeah,
man, pray about
yeah.
it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah,
See what God tells you. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. I know
So,
exactly what you mean. Yeah. If anything, I don't. I think all the things I kind of wanted to talk about, I think we talked about.
yeah,
I'm sorry if this is kind of heavy, guys. I haven't spoken publicly or about this stuff to really
yeah.
anybody in a long time. So
Well, somebody put on here. Let me put it on here. It says, "Love you, Jared, brother. I'm happy you're telling your story on Jason's platform." Well,
hmm,
I'm glad he is too, and thank you for that.
me too. Thanks.
Life, what you make it says, did parents pay to go? Did parents pay to go to that school?
Yes,
Yes, they did. Yeah,
thousands of dollars a month.
a month. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
so many parents just
So
got ripped off. Like you
ripped
said, they
off.
got
Yes,
duped. They
duped.
got bamboozled. I mean,
They
it
got
just
duped. Duh. It's so insane, this whole industry. Like you said earlier,
yeah.
they've got to do something about this because
And the thing is, with a lot with what we have now with the internet, if a parent sends their kids to these homes, they deserve to have the family destroyed. I mean, it's you know what I mean, because they should know better. They need to do the research, do
nowadays,
the due
yeah.
diligence. Yes,
See,
nowadays.
I wish, yeah, that's yeah, right. Like back when I went, it was
To
late
tell you the
'90s.
truth,
It was completely
I'm
different.
not psychoanalyzing. What I'm saying is, maybe if your parents had this technology back then,
Hey, yeah, yeah, right, yeah, right. Who knows, right?
who knows?
Who
Yeah,
knows?
it may have.
It could be completely
It may
different.
have,
Yeah,
exactly.
and
So
yeah, like you said, right? Late '90s was a different time.
yes, they were.
Different times, and you know, but yeah, I don't. I try not to hold any anger toward that, or I did for a long time, and that's what I'm trying to kind of talk about, try to let go. That's kind of why I wanted to come on your podcast and talk about stuff.
Right.
And I've been watching a lot of the other kids come on, and been following that, listening to people tell their stories and stuff. I figured, you know what, just come on and just let it out in the open, put it out there in the
Yeah,
universe.
make the parents
And
aware. Give them
yeah,
some information.
right.
You know.
Just yeah, exactly. I just that was my whole inspiration for coming on. To get it off my chest, number one. So like you said, spread some information to
A lot of
prospective troubled kids and their families.
a lot
You
of
know?
people who have come on my podcast talking about these homes have said at the end they've said it's been therapeutic.
Yes,
You know, to just get it off your chest and
absolutely.
go,
Yeah.
now I
You
don't
know
have to
what?
talk about it anymore.
Yeah. Or think about it,
Yes.
or nightmares and all the good stuff.
Time to put that aside and move on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
It's out there for people to watch.
yep, exactly. And that's a
So,
great thing, man. I'm so like yeah, I said it earlier. I'm so grateful for you and what you do um, with this. Like I see, I wish this was around years ago, man. It's like you're
yeah.
saying with the whole internet thing now. It's funny, but times are changing. But um, you know, it's amazing. You are a great human being for doing
Thank
this
you.
and for helping us and for exposing this whole industry and this teen abuse and all the traumatized things that we deal with. And I really appreciate it. I've been watching for a while, and I think you're doing great work. Is what I will say.
Okay. Oh, I see that the guy that said that the parents go to school, he goes, it's me, Tony, the guy who emailed you. I can tell you. Okay.
Nice.
All right. Says, thank you for having him on. I want him to make a YouTube channel.
Yeah,
That's
that's
good.
funny. That's funny. Oh man.
Well, Jared, I want to say that it's been a delight talking to you. Even under these circumstances, I know that it's been weighing down on you a
Yeah.
lot over the years, but there's hope, you
Yeah.
know.
There's always hope. Right.
It's all we can do. Hope for
Hmm.
the best.
Yes.
Hopefully things come out right and in the end.
Yeah. Yeah. And they
And the
are. They are. There's, they are. They're always. They're starting.
yeah,
You know.
and the people who need to be punished get punished.
Absolutely.
So,
Yes. One down so far. Oh, that's good.
oh, there's a
Good
lot of
news.
them. There's a lot. The thing is, the problem with these troubled teen homes is there's so many of them.
Yeah.
When one
Yeah.
gets taken down either
They
by
open up. Yeah.
physical abuse, sexual abuse, whatever it is, another one, two, actually not just another one, two or three will pop up.
Yep. Yep.
And
Yep.
I think what needs to happen is a lot of these states
Yeah.
need to start regulating these homes.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm baffled how it hasn't happened. So hasn't happened yet.
Right,
Like
oversight. You need oversight.
right. Like right. I don't understand how they continue to get away with this thing, with this shit. And I'm baffled. It freaking blows my
Yeah,
mind. Blows my fucking mind.
yeah, I know.
Just it gets me. Honestly, it gets me a little riled up because I went through it, and it's still happening to children, to teenagers nowadays, and it's infuriating. Infuriating.
Yes.
And I wish there was more I could do personally to stop it. But this is my start to try to. So just take for what I said for what it's worth, and just telling you my
Well,
experience.
I don't take these videos down.
Mhm.
So whoever wants to, and they're open to open to the public. None of them are private.
Right.
You watch it if
Yeah.
you want to watch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I hope people
So
do. I hope the message gets out. I hope people start waking up to this, and um, kids' lives stop getting destroyed.
yeah,
Honestly, that's what I hope.
and
And
and what I can say to the people out there listening or watching, or the ones that are going to watch in the future,
Yeah.
if you know somebody who wants to send their kid to a troubled teen home, tell them to do their homework, do their due diligence, research it.
Absolutely. That's what you have to. You have
Right.
to.
I'm not the
Have to.
I'm not the only platform that has these. So go on YouTube, just search troubled teen homes. You're going to find a whole bunch.
Mm.
You know,
Okay.
and
Okay.
and pick the one that you think is best. You know,
Okay. Okay.
that's how you
That's
do it.
great. That's great advice. Yeah. Yeah. That's something I'm want to start getting involved with.
Right.
You
And if
know.
it turns out you don't do your due diligence and you just send your kids somewhere and it screws them up, well, that's on you.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
you
Yep.
should have done your due diligence.
Yes. Because nowadays, like you said, there's too many resources out there now where you can't say I didn't know any better anymore. Like
Exactly. Right.
you can't say that.
Yep.
There's too many, right? Like you, for instance, all these
Yep.
documentaries. And there's too much stuff out there that's
I mean, if
you
you were to
know.
go on if you were to go on Google, if you were to
It's
go on Google and put in troubled teen home, not only are you
yeah,
going to get all the troubled teen homes, you're going to get all the retractors of the troubled teen. I mean,
yeah,
it's so
exactly
it's
right.
all
The
there.
whole Truth campaign, John Mark
Right.
Crawford, everything, all of it.
It's
Yeah.
all there.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
So parents
Yeah.
don't have an excuse at all.
No, not anymore. Just
So
please, like, you owe it to your kids. Just
yes,
if you love them,
yes,
look into it in depth, please. Just take it from me.
yep.
Um, because I've lived it, and it's
And
I
you're
don't
paying
wish
the
it on
price.
anybody. Right?
Yep.
I don't wish it on anybody. You know,
No.
no, no, I don't wish it on nobody.
Well,
So,
Jared, like I said, it was great talking to you.
Jason, I appreciate this. I'm sorry, I'm still nervous as hell.
That's
This whole time I've been nervous as hell. Oh man,
that's fine. That's fine.
but
You know,
yeah, it's but I appreciate you and everything you're doing. You're doing awesome work.
thank you.
I thank you for
You know, and like I
for
said,
having me.
for if you're out there, to the people out watching, if you're out there and you've been to a troubled teen home, or you were, a drug addict, or any type of story that you have, text me. My number, where is it? Right here, or right there somewhere. Right there.
Somewhere.
Yeah, right there. My
Right
number's
there.
right there. It's also on my channel page. Text me. We'll set up a time. Come on and give your story. So like I said, it can be therapeutic sometimes just to let it out and just as somebody who's listening and is able to kind of well, as far as a few things I can relate, but not all. But I'm a good listener.
Yeah,
I
you
do
sure
those
are.
things. So yeah. So and if I give some advice and everything else, so I'm not an expert, but hey, I lived that for a couple of years. I'm not in the home, but believe me, I knew people that were in the home that were devastated. So
Yeah, yeah.
I met some of the people that gave out the beatings. So, but
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah, that's a
so
whole nother tale.
yeah, it's a whole other show. All right, so
Right.
Jared, you take care of yourself, man.
Yes, Jason, thank you. I definitely will. Keep up the good work, man. That's all I can say. I really admire what you're doing.
All right, man. Take it easy. Say hello to everybody.
Yes,
All
sir.
right.
Yes,
And Tony
sir.
tell hello to Tony. Tell
There you
him
go.
thank you. Thank you very
Yes,
much.
yes, sir. I will do.
All right, man. Okay. You
Thank
take it
you.
easy, all right?
Yes, you too, Jason. Thank you.
All right, man.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So to everybody that is watching, thanks for showing up and listening. And like I said, once again, I want to thank Jared for being here. So for the Hammer Podcast, I'm Jason. You take care of yourself. You take care of each other. We'll see you next time. Hopefully someone gives me a text and we can do this again. All right? So have a great evening, man. Take it easy.
You too, Jason. Take
All
care.
right.
Peace, everybody.
Yep.